take care of your overall health, your mind, your body, your soul. Do everything in moderation, laugh often, and make sure you get plenty of sleep. And if you can avoid alcohol, do it. Your body will thank you.
Welcome to the Well with Cannabis podcast, a show dedicated to telling the life-changing stories of those who live well with cannabis, all while teaching you how to do the same. Meet your host, Emily Kyle, a registered dietitian nutritionist turned certified holistic cannabis practitioner. Emily changed her life for the better with the help of the cannabis plant, and now she is committed to helping others do the same. Tune in each week to hear heartwarming stories and gain the knowledge you need to feel connected, inspired, and supported on your own cannabis journey. Whether you're a new cannabis consumer or a lifetime lover, you'll benefit from these uplifting tales of real-life journeys that will show you how you too can live your best life well with cannabis.
Before we jump into today's episode, I wanted to share a note on potentially sensitive content. The episodes on the Well with Cannabis podcast are created for adult audiences only. We will at times cover sensitive topics, including but not limited to suicide, abuse, mental illness, sex, drugs, alcohol, psychedelics, and the obvious use of plant medicine. Explicit language may be used occasionally. Please refrain from watching or listening to the show if you're likely to be offended or adversely impacted by any of these topics. The information on this show is for informational and educational purposes only. It does not constitute medical advice. If any of the content on this podcast has brought up anything for you, please reach out or speak to a professional or someone you trust. Hi, Amy.
Hello. Hi, Emily. How are you?
Hi. Good. How are you?
I am awesome, and I want to thank you for having me. This is a true honor to be
I should
doing
thank
this podcast
you.
with you.
Oh my gosh, I should thank you. Thank you.
I've been a follower of yours. I love your website, and I've been so excited about doing this. And
Yay.
I have a lot of people that are very excited to see this or hear it, and I said I can't wait to share it. So
I'm so excited, and I'm really interested in your story because it sounds like cannabis has just been like such a game changer for you. So I'm really excited to introduce you, Amy, to the Well with Cannabis podcast. Thank you so much for being here. And I'd love to let's start with your story. And these words stood out to me, and you said, it gave me my life back. And I'd love to learn more about that.
Absolutely. I cannot say enough about this powerful, awesome plant. In fact, I have renamed it Holy Flower because it has become a part of my every single day from morning till night. And I am grateful to have it in my life because for the last decade, I have dealt with chronic pain. And I'm going to take you back to when it all initially began.
Perfect.
I was working in an ICU unit at a hospital in Kenosha, Wisconsin, and I was taking care of a morbidly obese patient, and ended up tearing 3 discs in my lower back.
Oh gosh.
And it very, very excruciating. And so I had to stop doing patient care. Had to go through all kinds of very excruciating tests, procedures, you name it. And of course, they wanted to give plenty of prescription meds to counteract the pain, which in essence, they just had to keep titrating up the dosages because they weren't helping. Had my first initial spinal fusion in 2009, and that fusion was a failure. So in 2011, went back in, more tests, more procedures, mind you, but 2011 was when I had yet another spinal fusion, and they went up even further on my spine. This one, also a failure. So I'm still dealing with tons of chronic pain and just miserable. And then had another spinal fusion in 2013. This time, the neurosurgeon ended up cutting me completely wrong, which ended up causing the fusion to separate when they put the titanium in, completely came apart in my back. So the metal pieces were spread out throughout my back.
Oh my
and
gosh.
What ended up happening, Oh, it was a party and a half, let me tell you.
You poor thing.
So, so then what happened was I ended up having scoliosis. I went from being 6'3" down to 5'9". I stood at a 45-degree angle. My left knee inverted in, and I can't even describe the type of pain it was. And with being in Wisconsin, if you're familiar with the weather here, I call it the frozen tundra.
Yeah.
In the winters, it can get down to -30, tons of snow, and of course, thunderstorm days. So all of these types of weather conditions were making the chronic pain horrific. I would be in a fetal position in bed, asking God, please take this pain from me. I cannot handle it anymore. And finally, I went to the Mayo Clinic in 2018 in Rochester, Minnesota. Had my entire spine fused, and by Dr. Jeremy Fogelson, an awesome neurosurgeon, and he gave me back my height. So I'm actually back to my 6'3".
Hey,
wow. I'm standing totally straight and, in great shape. And then the following year, in 2019, I had my left knee totally replaced. And so trust me when I tell you, my middle name should have just been chronic pain at this point. And I had a great friend who came to visit, and she said, look, I know these prescription meds are not helping you. They're just, why don't you try using, flower? And I'm telling you, and I know you can relate to this, and anybody else who 420s can totally relate. The moment that you start using it, it kills the pain. And I'm telling you, with everything in me, I believe so strongly in what this plant can do, the potentials it has for not just chronic pain, but all health issues. And I would never touch another prescription pill in my life ever again if I don't have to. And I will strictly use the holy flower, and that's it.
I am so happy that that friend came into your life and introduced you to cannabis and gave you this relief, because I also have my medical marijuana card for chronic pain, and while mine is nothing like you have went through, I know that chronic pain is it affects every single aspect of your life, and to find something that can relieve it, it's just, I can't imagine we'd keep this away from people, because your story, imagine if you didn't find that relief,
Exactly. And that's why I've said to everyone who knows me well and, knows how honest and truthful I am. And if I believe something so strongly, I'm going to share the good word on it. And if my story can help anyone else out there, my God, I will be happy to talk to them myself and educate them and show them the beauty of this plant, and not anything horrific that, the stigma has been, placed on it. And so absolutely, I'm a true believer in what this plant can do.
So now, you said you were working in healthcare. Was there a time that you were anti-cannabis?
Actually, I started, smoking it in my teen years and, all throughout my adulthood. So I really was never anti, marijuana, anything like that. I mean, my mother was a hippie, and so she believed in it. My father was definitely against it. And so, so to me, I didn't see anything bad with it. It was just because working in the hospital setting, as you cannot obviously use it. And due to it being an injury from working in the hospital, I had to go under the care of the doctors and be prescribed the medications, like the morphine, the Oxycontin, the oxycodone, which, like I said, were just literally taking the life from me. And it was awful.
Now, you said you're in Wisconsin. Is Wisconsin cannabis friendly?
In Wisconsin, they allow you to have the CBD with some THC in it. Like we have the Delta 8, and I know that we're hoping that they will go completely legal, but when, we don't know.
It's so hard to wait. I feel like some of us just get to a point where like we're just going to live our lives normally, whether we're waiting for it or not, whether it's legal or not. I mean, especially when you hear your story and hear like how much your quality of life has improved with cannabis. Like it would seem like any doctor in the world would be like, that's a no-brainer. Like, you of course should have cannabis. It's crazy.
Absolutely. In fact, I live close enough to the Illinois border that it's nothing for us to just drive to a dispensary and, get the right recreational. And I mean, there are people that I know that do have the medical card, and of course they get the discount with the medicinal side of the dispensaries.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I look at it this way. I'm in control of my own body. I'm not going to have a doctor or any government agency tell me you can't utilize this plant to, take care of your health. I'm sorry. After what I went through for the last decade and had no relief, and when I took the situation into my own hands by treating my own health with, like I say, the holy flower, I am so active now. I have my black lab, Sammy, who is 5 years old, and we walk 6 times a day, up to 5 miles. Like I said, I've dedicated my life to my work, which is Sammy's Place 420, and I absolutely love what I do, which I'll certainly explain more about that. But because of what the flower has done for me, this is what has changed my life completely. So when I say it's given me back my life, absolutely, 1,000,000%, it sure has.
I have goosebumps. Like, I'm so happy for you. I, whenever I connect with somebody like this, it truly like fills me up. I'm like, I am so happy that somebody has found relief. And I just hope that anybody listening to your story can connect with you, especially if they're living in chronic pain, and can be brave like you and try something, whether it's legal or not, and see if it can really help them, because you are just the epitome of living your best life and making your own decisions. And I'm so glad you said it that way.
Exactly. And like I say, I am happy to speak with anyone. I don't care where they are in the world. I will take the time to educate you, share with you my entire experience and how it has completely changed my life and made me the person I am today, how awesome I feel. And if anyone else out there can feel as awesome as I do on a cold winter day or when it's thunderstorm and no pain whatsoever, please take the chance and try it. You know what I mean?
100%. And that's exactly why I wanted to do this podcast, is because stories like yours need to be told, and your amazing like transformation, if that can help other people, I just feel like it is so worth sharing your story and everything that you've been through.
Absolutely. And, and I think the medical system that we currently have in place, I think because they're so dependent on, big pharma and whatnot, I think there needs to be drastic change and look at like what you're talking about, what I'm talking about, and so many others who are supporters of it, listen to what we're saying and realize that this needs to be a full-blown option.
Yes.
Do away with it being illegal on the federal level, because saying that on the Schedule 1 that there's no medicinal value, that is a complete and utter lie. And I will debunk that any day of the week.
I agree. And, as someone else with a background in healthcare, like it is so maddening to really realize that our current healthcare system truly does not care about people. And as someone who worked in it, believed in it, went to school for it, it really was a hard pill to swallow for me. And I don't know if you felt the same way, or like, I also had like a bad experience in a hospital. And as a healthcare provider, like I almost felt like the healthcare profession turned their back on me and left me behind. Did you feel the same way?
Absolutely. I absolutely do. And I didn't just work in an ICU. I had worked in several different hospitals in the past. And I mean, I worked in a cancer treatment center in the ER. And, you know, what I seem to notice is as long as the people have the insurance and they're paying for it, you're going to get all the treatments that you can possibly get. But like you say, there's not the care about humanity as a whole when it comes to the healthcare. And that to me is disturbing, because everyone on this planet is dealing with one health issue or multiple. And these are our fellow family members, friends, you know, we all know someone.
Absolutely. And if we could provide that relief for them with a simple plant that doesn't have the side effects that the prescription medications have. And, you know, I never really want to dog prescription medications too much, because if there's someone out there and they truly help them, I'm happy for them. I just want people to feel relief. But if you could find relief and not also have the negative side effects and live a better quality of life, I just don't see why this isn't a first option of intervention rather than a last for most people.
Correct, because if you look at most prescription medications, they all have a laundry list of side effects. Which,
crazy.
If you know, you have to take and counteract that with more medications.
Yes.
And I'm sorry, but I just don't want to do it. And using the plant is so much cheaper. You don't have the side effects. The most you're going to have is your dry mouth, your dry eyes. And if you cannot tolerate, and if you can't tolerate a higher THC, then you're going to have a few other things, you know, headaches or the anxiety. But that's when you want to maybe play around with a few different strains. Find the one that's the right fit for you.
Absolutely. And I feel like maybe people who aren't familiar with cannabis don't really realize that when we say cannabis, I mean, there's literally a million options when it comes to cannabis. Cannabis is just not a one thing. And I feel like for, you know, most people who are familiar with our traditional Western culture, where a prescription medication is one thing, it's so hard for people to understand the nuances of cannabis and the strains and the cannabinoids, and how a little tiny chemical difference can make a huge difference in your impact and your outcome. And cannabis is just so much more intricate, I think, than we give it credit for.
I completely agree. And like you said, the cannabinoids and breaking those down. And if you are to take and look at, say, you know, okay, THC is going to help with certain health issues. CBD is going to benefit certain health issues. CBG, CBC, THCV, CBN, so on and so forth. They all have their own characteristics that will potentially help to effectively treat certain health issues. And it's just a matter of having the education on that and the knowledge to put it into motion. Because, like I say, there's a lot of people that are not, you know, well-versed in it. You know, like they're not obviously dedicating their every moment to the research on it, like say myself is. And, you know, and when I speak to them about it, it's going way over their top, you know, their head. So I understand that part of it.
Definitely. There's definitely two camps of people. There's a camp I found who is like, I don't care about any of the information. I just want to feel better. Give me that magic pill. And then I feel like the camp like us, where we're like, oh my God, you just opened Pandora's box and there's so much to learn and I want to learn it all.
Mm-hmm. Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. And another thing I have found because what I do is I research health issues, and I have found at this point 310, to be exact, health issues, all their symptoms, and then what I've done is research the strains for each symptom category.
Oh my gosh.
And then I have a huge list that in these papers that I write, I include all that information, because you know as well as I, not every strain is available in your location. So this gives, say, the potential client the opportunity to go through the strains, and then they can go to their dispensary and have the bud tender help them with their expertise, or if they, have the green thumb, they can, order the seeds online from a reputable breeder and grow their own, which, I think would be a great option as well.
Yes. Absolutely. And let's come and focus on what you are doing and how you have used your experiences to really make a big difference in the world. Give me a little bit of where are you today and how are you making an impact?
Okay, so where I am basically today at this point is roughly 3 years ago, I started this passion project, as I stated, is Sammy's Place 420. And I took my pain and turned it into the purpose that it is, and with the health issues. And then I just started letting that snowball into the 310 health issues and just started dissecting the health issues, everything about them that I could possibly find. Then I also researched all the prescription medications that would be prescribed to the patient, including their side effects, documenting all this information. Then I take and list, like I stated, the holy flower strains by symptom category. And then I also have scoured the internet for the research studies that can back up what I'm stating about each health issue. And then give also other studies to show the reader that this is what is being done behind the scenes. And these are all going to be available on the website that I'm building.
Yeah.
Yes. And so, because my thing is, I want to have as many people be able to access this information so they can make a level-headed decision. And if I can provide that for them, then I've done my job.
That is amazing. I mean, to do all of that research and then just out of the goodness of your own heart to help other people, like, that is so sweet, Amy.
I love to be able to help people. And my thing is, if you can feel as great as I do and not be in pain, I'm happy to help you. And I have actually worked with quite a few different individuals, and what they've done is they've let me into basically their health issues and gave me the information. And what I would do is then find out what symptoms they're dealing with, find out the best strains that would work with them in this particular area where I live. And then I would take and create what's called Sammy strains out of the strains that I would basically work together. And then I would decarb them and infuse them into what I call Sammy butter. And then I would make edibles and do the dosing and have them basically test them out and see how they worked with them, and always would have positive results. So to me, it was also part of my research and development for my company as well.
I think that's awesome. And I see such a need for that in the marketplace, like that hand holding, that one-on-one, who are you? What does your body need? What does your unique situation look like? Like offering that's everything that's missing from traditional healthcare. And I feel like that's why it's going to be so impactful for people.
I agree. I mean, for example, I'll call her my client. I had one client that had 17 different health issues, was on 50 different medications per day, 52 different medications per day. And the cost alone for that was ridiculous out of pocket.
I can imagine.
And her goal was to get off of all the prescription medicines altogether and strictly go holy flower. And I said, you know what? I will help you with this. We will create Sammy strains that we can have that will help you and you can benefit from. And we had worked for a while together with this. I created for this particular person 4 different strains. There were 2 indica, 1 sativa, and then a super hybrid, which had 4 different strains that I combined together to create this for her. And she had told me for the first time in 20 years, she was able to get a good night's sleep.
Oh, that is amazing.
I get chills even just talking about it, because she was dealing with like pain and arthritis, fibromyalgia, anxiety, depression, migraines, ulcers, constipation, insomnia, menopause, you name it.
All of them.
Person was dealing with it. And like I said, it was horrible to hear everything that she was going through. And like I said, I know how great I was feeling. And when she first came to me, I had given her a sample box of edibles that I created. I said, let me know how these work for you. And she came back like a week later and said, I would love to work with you because I need to do something. And I said, absolutely, let's do it,
That is amazing. And I truly think, like, woman to woman or person to person, it's that special relationship, one person to another. Let me help you out. Let me make you feel better. That creates that ripple effect that I think will be the change that we need to see in the future. I don't think we'll see it from the government or healthcare institutions, but it's people like you out there who are being so kind and compassionate and empathetic for people and helping one person. I mean, that makes all the difference in the world.
Exactly. I can't agree with you more. If we all started doing that and helping each other out, you think about how it would spread like wildflower, the changes that could be made. And
Absolutely.
with the plants that we all love so much.
Right. And I just feel like when you feel better, you do better. Just your situation in and of itself is the perfect review of that. Is when you feel better, you can go out and do better in the world. And that does create a ripple effect, because now your client feels better and can go out and be a better version of herself in the world and hopefully help someone else along the way. So it really, it does give me goosebumps. It's incredible what you're doing.
Well, thank you. Thank you so much. I really appreciate that. And like I say, you've given me the opportunity to share my story and what it is I do on this podcast. And I really hope whomever hears it will take into consideration. And I am happy to, speak with them as well. And help them find a solution.
I really feel like someone is going to be listening to this somewhere and being like, Amy is the angel I need in my life. So I hope that the universe, puts you together in the perfect match possible. And I really just thank you so much for being so kind and so helpful and so honest and transparent. And I want to be respectful of your time. So before I let you go, I've been asking all of my guests the same 4 questions. Are you ready to play with me?
I am. I thought about those over the last
the
last week, and I said, you know what, I want to put some time and thought into these, questions. And so,
fabulous.
Definitely.
So first up, what are you most proud of to date?
What I am most proud of, I would have to say, I took my decade-long battle with the agonizing chronic pain and completely turned it around into a purpose to help others other than myself here on earth. And through my pain and my strength and courage to overcome my physical and mental challenges because of it is why I've dedicated all my time to Sammy's Place 420 and being able to help others, and just the feeling and the goodness I have from doing it. So I would definitely say that's what I am most proud of.
That is, absolutely something to be proud of. Thank you for sharing that. If you could go back 10, 20, 30 years and give yourself a little piece of advice, cannabis related, what would you tell yourself?
As far as going back 10 years, or to my 10-year-old self, I would say go after your dreams. Ignore any negativity that someone may try to project onto you, because that's their own issue. And believe in what you believe in. Be kind to others and treat others how you want to be treated. My 20-year-old self, you've made it to adulthood. Now it's time for you to face the world, and not everyone's going to be honest and trustworthy. But don't let anyone stop your progress in achieving your goals, and take care of your overall health, your mind, your body, your soul. Do everything in moderation. Laugh often. and make sure you get plenty of sleep. And if you can avoid alcohol, do it. Your body will thank you. And last, of course, but not least, my 30-year-old self, I would say heal your broken heart. And the person that broke it, they were a lesson and not meant to be in your life. And just look past it, forgive, keep pushing, and be grateful for every day you have, and keep doing the work you're doing. Make changes.
Oh, that's perfect. If you didn't have cannabis in your life, what do you think it would look like today?
Oh, if I didn't have it in my life, it would be utterly painful and agonizing. I wouldn't have the company that I've certainly, put all my time and energy into. I wouldn't have my knowledge and wisdom on the plants to share with others. I mean, I can't even fathom my life without it. It's my favorite topic to speak on. I love everything about the plants. I love learning about it. I love the 420 vibe that others have and we share. Life would be like a bland meal that has no seasoning, or
Ooh.
A miserable cold day with no heat. I mean, just,
such a good way to say it.
Life.
Absolutely.
Yes.
That's a perfect way to say it. I love it. A cold day without heat. Absolutely.
Yes.
It's a great way to say
holy
that.
flower is life completely.
Absolutely.
It's my life. And I love
Same
the
here.
plants.
I do too. And I'm so glad we can connect over it. It's really amazing that this one plant just brought us together to have this conversation in the first place, which I find super special.
I think it's awesome. Like I say, I've followed you online, and I've seen your website and everything. And like I say, the opportunity for us to discuss our plants is awesome and amazing. And I am so happy to be here to do that with you.
Thank you.
It is a
so
true
much.
honor.
Oh, the honor is mine. And let me that'll be a perfect segue to our last question. If you can be remembered for just one thing, what would it be?
One thing to be remembered by is to never give up and to fight for what you strongly believe in. Be real and be honest about it. Be yourself. And so that would definitely have to be, what I would say I would like to be remembered for. That I never gave up on myself. I put forth the effort and remain true to what I'm saying.
Oh, I feel like people are just going to listen to your words and soak them in. I feel like I am. I'm having like a little moment here with you, Amy. I just love this conversation. Thank you so much for being honest and being vulnerable and talking. And if people want to learn more about Sammy's Place 420, how can they find you online?
Okay, well, if they would like to learn more, presently the website is being built, which will be www.sammysplace420.com. We will make an announcement ahead of time, but in the meantime, you can find me on Facebook under my Sammy's Place 420 page, or on Instagram on Sammy's Place 420 on there, or they can certainly email me at sammysplace420 at gmail.com.
Awesome. I'm going to make sure that all of these links are available so people can find you, because I just have no doubt people are going to flock to you, Amy, want your wisdom. I thank you so much for sharing it with me today and really just appreciate your time.
Congratulations. You've finished another episode of the Well with Cannabis podcast and are one step closer to discovering how you too can live well with cannabis. Thank you for listening in today. We hope this episode has been a helpful and informative one. Please visit EmilyKyleNutrition.com for more information on today's show notes, guest information, recipes, and other resources. If you want more support and encouragement on your cannabis journey, please consider joining the private Well with Cannabis community. In this group, you can connect with like-minded individuals focused on improving their health and wellness through cannabis. Join the group today to continue your journey of wellness together at EmilyKyleNutrition.com.